Welcome back. Daniella Squicquero is here with our business report, and it's good to see you, Daniella. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Betsy. It is great to be here, great to be back.
And so as we are heading into the new year, we're still dealing with the effects of this pandemic and the PPP loans, and tell us what's going on with our small businesses.
It's so true. You know, it's funny, everybody's talking about this transition from 2020 to 2021, and we all want to look to a very, very bright year and a bright future ahead. But the fact of the matter is the end of the calendar year did not bring the end of these things that we're dealing with, both health and business and economy-wise. So what's happening right now with PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, of course, is that we have, of course, already gone through that first wave, that first round, really in suit with the first wave of the pandemic and how it affected all of these businesses. And so now we are seeing a second wave along with a second wave of PPP, and that actually is opening this week. So depending on who you are and the eligibility level that you're at, that will depend on what day that opens for you. It'll either be Monday or Wednesday. But we're still sort of wading through what's going to happen with this first round. We now know a little bit more about how it's going to be forgiven and in what cases and what the tax ramifications are for that. But I would urge our businesses locally to make sure that they are watching that, they're working with their professional, or rather their accounting professionals, their tax professionals, to make sure they understand the ramifications, because just because it's forgiven doesn't mean that that doesn't say anything about your tax situation. So be aware of that. And then of course, we're now layering this second round. They've expanded who is eligible and for what purposes. So all of those things are changing. It's very important to keep an eye on because it's going to affect our small businesses who right now don't have time to really pay attention to this. They're trying to stay afloat.
Right. And we hope that they do stay afloat. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, great information. And so let's change gears a little bit.
Sure.
I mentioned in the headlines that we've had a little bit of a change in the town, and Mark Orlando is leaving us to go to Hilton Head. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, Mayor Lisa Solka has wished him the very best, as does Town Council. And Mark did such a great job as town manager for the town of Bluffton, and we know, tying it back into business, having a great town manager, a great council is so important, has so many ramifications for the health and wellness of a local economy, especially one like ours that is so driven by small businesses. And so as we're watching to see what happens, we know that he's going to do a great job across the bridges on Hilton Head Island as their new town manager, and we just have to wait and see who's going to take over as interim and what effect will that have. And I'm sure that, you know, as we find out who the actual formal position to take over will be, that will also inform that going forward. But as we know, it's very, very important to have someone in there that is wonderful. So we will be watching with bated breath to see who takes that position over.
Yeah, absolutely, following us for sure, so we can keep up to date with that information. And you're right. I mean, it is so important to have a great town council and a great town manager. And they've had to make some decisions this year that I'm sure they never thought they were going to have to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for being with us, Daniella. We'll look forward to the next time you're with us for the Business Report.
My pleasure.
Next, we'll bring you some important information for survivors of human trafficking. Stay with us.